The old man picked a rose and gave it to the richest prince in town. However, the prince smiled and laughed heartily, thinking that he was surrounded by many beautiful women, and even he himself wore heavy makeup all day long. But today he never expected an ugly old woman to come to his door to offer him a flower. The flowers were beautiful, but the old woman was too ugly. So the prince threw the roses on the ground and told the old man to leave. The angry old man warns him not to judge people by their appearance, but the prince doesn't listen and still tries to get rid of the old man. The next moment, the ugly old man turns into a beautiful fairy and the prince falls to his knees and begs for forgiveness. But the fairy wasn't going to let him go. And since the prince was so fond of appearances, she turned him into an ugly beast. Then she turned the rest of the castle into objects, leaving the prince alone in the castle. And to become a prince again, he had to find someone who truly loved him before the roses wilted. But as time went on, the prince lost all hope. After all, who could love a beast? Until a few years later, when a merchant got lost in the forest and was unlucky enough to run into wolves, he accidentally stumbled into the castle. Inside the castle he found a burning fireplace and a table full of good food. Hungry and cold, he did not care about anything else. He just picked up the bread and ate it. At that moment, the cup of tea on the table automatically moved towards him and spoke. The old man was startled and fled from the castle on horseback. As he passed the white rose garden, the old man suddenly stopped and thought to pick a rose to bring to his daughter. Unbeknownst to him, the owner of the place saw him and arrested him as a thief. Except for the white horse, who was so frightened that he escaped. The white horse escaped from the snow and ice and returned to the season of spring. When the old man's daughter saw the white horse returning alone, she realized that something had happened to her father. So she rode the horse back the same way. She entered the castle with a long stick in her hand and found her father in captivity at the top of the castle. The beast's voice came from above, and the girl had the courage to go up and see what he looked like, but she was shocked by his face. And that was the beginning of a strange relationship between the two. The beast opened the door and asked the girl to make her own choice. The girl didn't hesitate to turn around and hug her father. The father begged his daughter to leave, but the girl pretended to agree and said goodbye to her father as she pushed him out of the cell and quickly closed the door. Seeing the girl's choice, the beast taunts the girl for being so stupid and drags her father out of the—
Told you to join me for dinner!
And I told you no! I'd starve before I ever ate with you.
Well, be my guest!
The beast, already upset, had a big fight with the girl and left, knowing that everyone wanted to be human again, but he couldn't restrain his temper. Back in his room, the beast calmed down, saw that the rose petals were about to fall off and reluctantly picked up the magic mirror. He wanted to look at the girl again, and this time he thought she was not bad. As the rose petals faded again, the beast became anxious because once the rose petals were completely gone, he would become a real beast and the objects in the castle would no longer be able to think. Everyone knew that there was not much time left for them, and although the girl was their only hope, the objects would not force him. When the girl was ready to run away, Mama Teapot not only didn't stop her, but prepared a feast for her. But after eating and drinking, the girl didn't leave. She wanted to see what had cursed these lovely people. The girl made her way to the beast's room, and when she saw the rose, she couldn't resist touching it.
What are you doing here? What did you do to it?
Nothing.
Do you realize what you could have done? You could have damned us all! Get out of here! Go!
The girl was really scared this time, so she got on her white horse and ran away from the castle. But she didn't get very far before a pack of hungry wolves surrounded her. The girl had no choice but to dismount and pick up a stick to defend herself. But there were too many wolves, and soon the stick was also taken by the wolves. The girl was about to be killed by the wolves, but the beast suddenly came and saved the girl. After a fierce fight, the wolves were all defeated, and the beast fell to the ground, badly wounded. The girl who could have just left hesitated, but the beast was injured to save her, and she couldn't ignore it. So she took the beast back to the castle. But even though he was badly injured, the beast's temper was still hot. The girl couldn't understand why the objects in the castle didn't leave him when faced with such a man. Mother Teapot told the girl that the beast had lost his mother when he was very young and had been brought up by his cold father, who had influenced the beast to be cold and unfeeling. Knowing the beast's life, the girl felt sympathy for him and began to take care of him. That day, the girl read Romeo and Juliet in front of him, and the beast told her how they ended. Although the beast never felt the love of his parents, he had a passion for reading. When she heard about books, the girl became interested, for she had always loved reading. When the beast healed, he took the girl to his library and allowed her to read as much as she wanted. The girl was so happy that she looked at the beast in a much better light. Over the next few days, they read and ate together, and gradually she realized the beast's sweet side. The relationship between the two was furthered by reading, but it's not enough to reach the point of true love. The girl wanted to play a joke on the beast. She hit him lightly with a snowball, but she didn't realize that the beast was a super straight guy and returned it with a bigger one. How could a girl not love the beast when he was so cute and they both shared the same hobby of reading? Although the beast is always the one who does the hard work, but he has no complaints. Beast also from the beginning of the buried head to eat now pick up the plate to eat. As the days went by, they both fell in love with each other without realizing it. But the beast sometimes thinks he's a fool to think that an ugly beast could ever want to be loved by a human. But the girl tells him that it's not all about appearances. It's also about what's inside the beast. and the beast thinks it's true. In the evening, the beast organized a ball and with the help of his friends, he tried to look as handsome as possible. The girl changed into a new dress and the two of them looked at each other and walked into the ballroom hand in hand and danced to beautiful music full of love. But the beauty is always short-lived. After the dance, the girl said she misses her father, so the beast took the magic mirror to show her but did not expect to see her father just beaten up. Seeing that the girl is very anxious, beast decided to let her go back even if the girl will not come back this time, because he knows that love is not possession. If the girl loves him, will definitely come back, so he gave up the only chance to lift the curse. On the other hand, his father was put into a carriage by the villagers and was going to send him to the madhouse, but the girl rode to him in time. The villagers said his father was crazy and always said there were wild animals in the castle. In order to prove that his father was not crazy, the girl took out the magic mirror and scared everyone by showing the beast inside. The girl explained that the beasts inside would not hurt anyone, but the man in leather grabbed the mirror and accused the girl of having been captured by the beasts. The villagers not only locked up the girl, but also organized by the man in leather to hunt the beast. The girl was very worried about the safety of the beast. She told her father all the reasons for the incident, and finally, with the help of her father, the girl escaped from the carriage. On the other hand, when he saw the villagers invading, the beast was disheartened and mistook the villagers for the girl. As the villagers entered the castle, the objects began to fight back against the invaders. The man in the leather jacket had no idea where he got the confidence that he could deal with the beast, so he took advantage of the chaos and ran into the depths of the castle. The villagers were beaten back in the halls, and soon they all exited the castle. The girl finally arrived at the castle, and the man in leather found the beast and shot the beast right off the castle, but it wasn't fatal, and the beast hid. But the man in leather found it anyway. Just as the beast was about to die, the girl rushed over and told him to stop. At the sound of the girl's voice, the beast was filled with strength. He lifted the man in leather to the edge of the cliff, and as soon as he let go of his hand, he could finish it off, but the beast threw him back, for he was not an inhuman beast. He drove the leather man away and came to the girl's side. But the man in the leather jacket is a sinister villain. But he came back to make up for the gun. He kept shooting at the beast, and the bridge broke due to the loud gunshot. And the man in the leather jacket finally went to meet God. The girl hugged the dying beast with tears of sadness until the last rose petal fell and the beast stopped breathing and the objects became cold and dead. The fairy tale didn't end like this, so the fairy appeared and used her magic to lift the curse. With a flash of light, the beast became a prince and the snow began to melt and the sunshine filled the castle and the objects became human and they danced together once more. The girl and the prince lived happily ever after.